Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA. Today myself and Luke are going to do a preview of the Allianz Hurling League for 2022 Division 1. And we have here, we're going to start with Group A in Division 1. In this group, Limerick, Wexford, Galway, Cork, Offaly and Clare. Of course, the All-Ireland champions there, Limerick, the all-conquering side. Wexford and Galway, of course, new eras beginning with them, Dara Egan in charge of Wexford. Galway were supposed to get the former Wexford boss Davy Fitzgerald until the last minute when they switched and went with Henry Shefflin, of course, as their manager. Cork, of course, with the All-Ireland Hurling finalists last year. They got a pasting from Limerick that day, but they had a very, very good 2021 championship up until that point. A lot of young talent in this side. Offaly as well there, of course, Michael Fennelly leading a very, very strong revolution there in Offaly. They're back at the top table. It'll be interesting to see how they get along. And Clare as well under Brian Lohan, looking to make further progress again in 2022, starting with the league campaign. Luke, this group is very, very interesting. Obviously, Limerick stick out as being the favourites because they are the all-conquering Limerick that have won back-to-back All-Ireland titles in some style as well, by the way. But do you see any team being able to really step up to them and make it difficult for them?
Well, look, I think it's going to be difficult because I think the thing that doesn't get talked about with Limerick enough is the strength and depth, and like in the league they can afford to rest a few lads. And if you kind of look at each line, who can kind of come into the team, like in the full back line, Jerome Boylan can kind of come in, Ronan Connolly come into the half back line, Paddy O'Loughlin, Colin Coughlin can come in. There's like Robbie Hanley's there in midfield, David Reedy in the half forward line, and then Pat Ryan up front. So they have so many options kind of. So if they want to kind of make a few changes, 6 or 7 lads that weren't starting in All-Ireland finals, I'd say it's still a good enough team to beat everyone else in the country. So based off that, and that strength and depth, the quality of that panel, I think it's very, very difficult to imagine any other team topping this group other than Limerick, because I think they're going to play an awful lot of those lads I've just mentioned, but I think those lads would start for every other team in the country pretty much right now. So I think no matter who Limerick kind of put out from their squad, I'd still have them as favourites. But I think it's an interesting point there on like who's going to rival them, and I think the teams that I think will be best placed to push them are probably Clare, Wexford, and Cork, I think, right now. And I'm particularly interested with Clare right now. We know Peter Duggan's coming back in, and all of a sudden that forward line is looking very, very good. I know Shane O'Donnell might be back for a bit of the league, but all of a sudden, like if they can get Tony Kelly back fit too, Peter Duggan, Tony Kelly, Aaron Shanaher, Shane O'Donnell, it's suddenly a very, very good forward line. And I think Clare could be very, very good in the league. And as well, Wexford have had a great start to the Walsh Cup there as well. So I think those two teams probably flying a bit under the radar coming into this year, definitely ones to watch. And just briefly as well on Cork are kind of hard to know where they're really at the moment. But like following, I think the All-Ireland final lost last year, but look at all that talent in the under-20s team, and I think the big narrative to watch them is is how many of those lads they actually put into the team, and if any of them can actually break through into the championship, because the sooner they get through, I think the sooner Cork's fortunes start to turn around.
Yeah, I agree, because they were good enough to make the All-Ireland final, but that team will not beat Limerick, so they have to get these young lads into the side, the likes of Kieran Joyce, the likes of Tommy O'Connell. They have to get them into the side, start to embed them in, and then hopefully they can actually take it to Limerick in a couple of years, because the All-Ireland final was a clear indicator that they are nowhere near Limerick's level right now. Obviously, then at the other end, while there was the obvious pick as who we think is going to top the group, there's the obvious choice of Offaly being probably on paper the weakest side in this group, and probably the side that a lot of people would tip to go straight back down. Do you think that they have it in them to stay up? Obviously, Michael Fennelly running a very, very strong side. Some superb hurdles there, the likes of Owen Cahill. I mean, you mentioned there that Wexford, Cork and Clare were best placed to challenge Limerick. Do you think that if Offaly are to stay up, that their best bet at getting a victory is against Galway then?
Yeah, I do actually. I think the Galway, I think it's a big rebuild that's needed there. I know they still have some very quality players like Cathal Mannions, the Conor Whelans, all these lads as well. But I do think that there's a bit of kind of change needed in Galway. But look, unfortunately for Offaly, I don't think they have the quality to stay up in this group, unfortunately. And look, if they're drawn in the other group, you're looking like Laois and Antrim are in the other one. They're going to play each other, knowing that whoever wins that game is going to stay up. But unfortunately for Offaly, they've no other team that's probably considered on their level at the moment. So in order to stay up, they're going to have to take an absolutely huge scalp. And as much as I think Galway are going to take some time for Shefflin to get it right in there and to be kind of get his print on it and get new faces in, I think any team that Galway fielded against Offaly should be heavy favourites to come out on top.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. But obviously, you mentioned about Antrim. I think the thing that we're forgetting here is Antrim did beat Clare in the opening game of the league, and they drew at Wexford as well. So two of the three sides that you said are best placed to challenge Limerick, they were caught by Antrim last season. So it'll be very interesting to see if Offaly can do the same thing. So we picked Limerick to go into the league final, and that takes us on to Group B in Division 1 then. Tipperary, Waterford, Dublin, Laois, Kilkenny and Antrim. Obviously, you mentioned Laois and Antrim are the two sides that we kind of expect to be fighting it out for who gets to stay in Division 1 for next season. Out of those two counties, which one do you think will stay up? And if any county can be caught by either of those two, which county do you think it is?
Yeah, well, look, I think that Laois are probably a level ahead of Antrim this year. I think Antrim's progress has stalled a little bit after like a fantastic campaign last year, really. So I do think when that in that game, I think that Laois are going to win it. And in answer to your question on who's like the most likely to be caught, look, I can't really see any of those kind of four teams above them being caught, but maybe the most likely, we've already seen Tipperary being caught out by Kerry, new management coming in, and I know that look, the panel's an awful stronger. They've named their panel for the National League and stuff, and they won't have a similar team out, but I do think it'll take a little bit of time for Colin Bonner to get his print on this team. And look, again, they need to change a fair bit too. So I think maybe they'd be the most likely, I think, to be overturned.
Yeah, they're definitely a bit of an unknown quantity going into this league campaign. Obviously, Waterford with Liam Cahill there in charge, he'd be hoping to get the likes of Tyg de Burka back fit. Obviously, Pádraig Mahoney is talking about coming back into the Waterford panel, but of course he won't be there. None of the Ballygunner lads will be there for the first few games of the league, obviously with the club championship still going ahead. Do you think that makes it between Kilkenny and Dublin then for the favourites to top this group?
Yeah, I actually do. I think that based off early season form, I think Dublin, we've seen what they've done to Galway. They've all their kind of big players out early on. Donald Burke's form looks incredible. So does Chris Crummy. They look very sharp for this time of year. So I'd expect them for the first couple of rounds to be playing at a level that not many other teams can match. And I think that Dublin have a great chance. This is probably one of their best chances. They're in probably arguably I'd say the easier of the two groups. They're coming up against a tip team that are very much in transition. Waterford it's a good point you make about Ballygunner and stuff as well. And without those lads, it's not really quite the same team. So look, I would say it's between Dublin and Kilkenny, and I think that fixture between Dublin and Kilkenny will probably decide who reaches the league final. And look, I think normally in these games, Kilkenny do tend to have Dublin's number a little bit. So I think I'd probably go with Kilkenny to reach the final.
Yeah, it's a good point that you make about Kilkenny having Dublin's number, but similar to the Waterford case of the Ballygunner lads, Ballyhale Shamrocks, all those lads won't be there for Kilkenny either.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it is a good point, but I still think though it's just in a way that I'd never back Dublin against Kilkenny, and even without all without all the key players missing, the TJ Reid, Young, Cody's and everything as well. By the end of the league, when all those lads are back, and Kilkenny and Dublin are probably gonna, I'd say, in my opinion, will be scrapping it out to get to that final. I think that form with those lads coming back in, I think Dublin just probably are lacking a little bit of the talent that Kilkenny have, and even just the psychological kind of belief that they can live with Kilkenny. So I think, as much as I think Dublin are in a great position right now, I probably would be looking at a Kilkenny and Limerick final, and going down, I'd be thinking Antrim and Offaly to go back down to Division 2.
Yeah, I completely see where you're coming from there. And then obviously to pick who you think is going to be the league champions for 2022. Me personally, I'm picking Limerick. I kind of assumed you're picking the same.
Yeah, look, it's the boring answer, unfortunately, but I think that it's with the way that their squad is right now. I think Limerick can win as much as they want to win right now, and I think our answer would be the same for our predictions for the All Ireland at this stage as well. That it's hard to see any team being able to live with Limerick, and look, the only way I don't think that they win the league is if they don't take it fully seriously. So yeah, I think Limerick. I think Limerick are going to win it quite handily, probably in a final. I think between those two teams that we picked, I think that they're a long way ahead of everyone right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're just one of the best teams that I've ever seen. I think the comparison with the Kilkenny 4-in-a-row team is more than justified. A quick word on the other divisions. Obviously, 2A, I think that Kerry and Westmeath are the teams that are going to get promoted from 2A. I don't think Carlow have it in them to match Kerry and Westmeath this time. Obviously, Westmeath have Davy Glennon, obviously, who transferred from Galway. You know, they have the Doyle brothers, some superb hurlers in that Westmeath side. And then for Kerry, obviously, they beat Tipperary in the pre-season tournament. They're catching headlines. They're getting lads in from the Limerick hurling side. They're the likes of Shane Conway, Fionn McAsey. I mean, they're looking pretty strong. And then in Division 2B, I'm predicting Mayo and Derry to go up. Obviously, Derry have the Slough-Neil lads that will come back into the side when the championship starts hitting the crunch time. Mayo as well have some very, very good hurlers. I'm predicting that Mayo go up. And then 3A, I'm predicting that Roscommon will go up with Monaghan. I think they're both well set for the league campaign. And then for Division 3B, I'm predicting Fermanagh and Leitrim will go up. I just wonder what you make of those predictions. Anything you object to?
Yeah, no, I think it's all pretty good shouts. I think a special mention in 2A, I'd give to Kildare. I think there's a lot of momentum in Kildare hurling right now, especially you look at what at Nace and that intermediate championship right now that they're a great bet for it. So look, there's a lot of promise in Kildare hurling right now, and yeah, I'd probably agreed. I think that Kerry would be my favourites, but I really wouldn't be surprised to see that Kildare give it a good go to see if they can rival Kerry and Westmeath to go up. So I think yeah, going back up to Division 1, it'll be between 1 to 4 teams of Carlow, Kerry, Kildare, Westmeath. So yeah, it'd be a really interesting one to watch there. I'd probably be leaning down as the team to be relegated, and up from 2B. Yeah, I think you can't really argue with Mayo and Derry right now that they seem to be the two teams that are best situated. And look, I think Derry in particular could give Division 2A a good crack as well if they go up too. So yeah, look, interesting ones all across the hurling divisions. And look, I'm really excited to see these games come back. And you can't really beat hurling National League really. So yeah, very, very excited to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, without doubt, I can't wait for it. It's going to be an epic one. I think the hurling almost, because there isn't as much riding on the league, I think the games can often be almost more enjoyable, more free flowing. Players are kind of trying stuff that sometimes they wouldn't try in high pressure championship games. So they have a different element to them than the championship games do for sure. I think it'd be fascinating to see how it turns out. So, guys, that is the Play On GAA preview of the National Hurling League in all divisions for 2022. Don't forget to look at our football previews for the Allianz League as well, and get all your content here for GAA here on Play On GAA. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And until the next video, guys, take care.